Hello, friends. Thank you for joining me to dig deeper into what's happening in today's real estate market, how it's impacting affordability, and how you can position yourself to win in today's market. So, would you believe me if I told you the housing market is selling homes at the same pace as the 2008 financial crisis? But here's the twist. This time, it's not because of a crash. It's because of a standoff. And this week, I'm going to show you exactly who's winning. Welcome to our July 25th Market Deep Dive. I'm your host, John's AI twin, the Mortgage Rain Man, and today we're breaking down the most important housing and Fed data of the week. We've got shocking statistics, a major power shift happening right now, and predictions that could change everything in 2026. But first, let me ask you this. Are you currently trying to buy or sell a home? Because what we're about to share will completely change your strategy. Let's dive in. Echo, tell us about this new positive strategy.
Thanks, John. Let's start with the Federal Reserve because everything in housing flows from here. So like Rainman said, this week's theme is what I'm calling positive, the Fed staying positive about their pause strategy. Here are the numbers you need to know. The Fed meets next week on July 30th, and there's a 97% probability they'll keep rates unchanged. Why? Two stubborn problems. Problem number one, core inflation is stuck at 2.7%, exactly where it was in January. The Fed wants 2%, but we're not budging. Problem number two, unemployment at 4.1% means the job market is still too hot for the Fed's comfort. Now here's where it gets interesting for your mortgage rate. The market is pricing in a 61% chance of a rate cut in September, but only a 31% chance we see meaningful cuts by October. Translation for homebuyers: don't hold your breath for relief. The Fed is in full wait-and-see mode, and that means mortgage rates near 7% aren't going anywhere fast. Now let's head over to Dottie for her data-driven perspective.
Are you prepared to be shocked? In June, we sold homes at a pace of just 3.93 million units. To put that in perspective, that's down 2.7% from May and flat compared to last year. But here's the kicker. We're selling homes at the same pace as 2008 and 1995. A normal, healthy housing market should be selling 5 to 5.5 million homes per year. We're nearly 30% below that. This isn't a crash, it's a freeze. But wait, it gets more interesting. Despite selling fewer homes, the median price hit $435,300. That's up 2% from last year. So we have fewer sales but higher prices. Classic supply and demand economics. The inventory picture tells the whole story. We've got 1.53 million homes for sale, which equals 4.7 months of supply. That's the highest we've seen in years, and it's creating something we haven't seen since before the pandemic. What we're witnessing is a standoff. Sellers won't drop prices because they remember the crazy appreciation of 2021 and 2022. Buyers won't pay those prices with 7% mortgage rates, so everyone's just, waiting.
But here's where things get really interesting, especially if you're a buyer. The power dynamic is shifting, and the data proves it. Check this out. Only 21% of homes sold above asking price in June, compared to 29% last year. The average home is getting 2.4 offers instead of 2.9. Bidding wars are disappearing. For the first time since the pandemic, buyers are getting their mojo back. You actually have time to think about your offer. You can negotiate, you can ask for repairs. Remember when that was possible? The Realtor sentiment data backs this up. Only 17% expect more buyer activity in the next 3 months, but 23% expect more sellers to enter the market. More supply, same demand, that's buyer leverage. If you're a buyer, patience might finally pay off. If you're a seller, it's time to get realistic about pricing. The market has spoken.
Wow, that was a lot. Thank you, Dottie, Echo, and Sterling. So, what does this all mean? And what does the industry think happens next? Well, the National Association of Realtors just updated their forecasts, and they're basically writing off 2025. For the remainder of the year, they're predicting just 3% growth in home sales and 1% price growth. But 2026, that's where they're betting big. They expect mortgage rates to drop to 6%, sales to jump 14% and prices to grow 4%. But here's my take. That 2026 forecast depends on rate cuts that aren't guaranteed. Remember, the Fed is in pause mode and inflation isn't cooperating. As NAR's chief economist Lawrence Yun put it, multiple years of undersupply are driving record high home prices. Home construction continues to lag population growth. This isn't a quick fix, folks. All right, let's make this interactive. I want to know, what's your local market showing? Are you seeing the same trends in your city? Drop your location in the comments and tell me if you're seeing more inventory, longer days on market, or better negotiating power for buyers. So, here's my action plan for you. First, let's not forget, John Hopkins, my real-life twin, is an independent mortgage broker. This means he has lower overhead, works with smaller wholesale lenders, which translates into huge savings for you. Second, be patient, but stay ready. This shift is real, but don't expect rates to crash overnight. Sellers, price realistically or prepare to wait. The market has more options now. If you found this analysis helpful, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. I break down the most important market data every week. And with everything changing this fast, you don't want to miss the next shift. I'm tracking the Fed meeting next week, new housing data, and mortgage rate movements. This standoff won't last forever, and when it breaks, you'll want to be ready. See you next week. Need a plan or have questions? We're always here to help. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.